Welcome to Pop Culture Roulette for all your pop culture needs. We're America's podcast. Welcome, everybody. I'm Nicholas. I'm joined by Master of Turning Nothing into Something, Jeremy,
Hell yeah.
and Master of Turning Nothing or Something into Nothing, Justin.
Ooh,
Yeah, that's why we're such a good team.
yes.
So hopefully everybody's had a good week. This has been kind of at least the end of the week has been kind of a crazy pop culture week because this is San Diego Comic-Con. One of these days we'll get out there. Hopefully, because we've gotten so popular that they demand that we have a panel. Maybe popular enough to have a panel in Hall H, the big one,
Or so rich.
or so rich that we can just buy a panel.
Yeah. Listen to us. You have to. We pay money.
So obviously there were some pretty big announcements. Marvel came at us with their list of just like amazingness that they always come at you with from San Diego Comic-Con. So they gave us some dates for some stuff that we already knew was coming. We got Secret Invasion coming that's going to be a Disney Plus show. So
Okay.
obviously they've been building that one with some of the after credit stuff for the last couple of movies with the Skrulls and the Nick Fury being out in outer space. Guardians of the Galaxy 3 has an exact date. Echo, which is coming off of the Hawkeye series, Loki season 2, Blade the movie. They gave us an exact date for that, which means they're actually actively working on it.
So that's just the other ones don't exist. This is a whole brand new.
Right. Yeah. Blade is, the three Wesley Snipes movies don't exist. Basically, any Marvel movie that happened before Iron Man doesn't exist. I mean, it does. I mean, we can go back and watch them, but in the pantheon, because even with the stuff that happened in Doctor Strange, none of it really. Because I mean, we've all seen Doctor Strange by now, right?
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So when Black Bolt shows up, that was from the Inhuman show. We obviously got John
What?
Krasinski in the big
Who's Black
cameo.
Bolt?
The one guy who can't talk.
Okay.
Yeah.
Gotcha. Okay.
And then Professor X hasn't happened yet, and Mr.
That would-
Fantastic hasn't happened yet. But
I said that would be my question of where does the X-Men fit in?
they haven't said that yet. I'm guessing neither of you have watched Miss Marvel yet.
Miss Marvel.
No.
That the Disney Plus show?
Yeah.
Okay. No, I
Okay.
haven't.
I'm gonna spoil something that happened, and I know this is a week or two out, so spoilers even for the listeners. It doesn't really spoil the show. I mean, the show is really good, it's still worth watching. But at the end of the show, like there was kind of a throwaway line where somebody looks at Miss Marvel and goes, we studied your DNA, we studied your blood, you have a mutation. And it's the first time in the MCU they've used the word mutant at all. If you don't, I mean, obviously they did with the Professor X stuff, but because with Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., they took all of those X-Men characters and all of the mutant characters and turned them all into Inhumans. Because at that time, Fox and Marvel were still fighting each other. And if Marvel had used the word mutant, Fox would have sued them.
Uh-huh.
So Marvel was like, we want to use that word, so we're just going to buy Fox.
For one word.
What a power move.
Yeah. Ballers.
Yeah.
you know, it was like, we want X-Men. Well, we're not going to sell you X-Men. We'll just buy your whole damn company.
Yeah, that's
Which-
awesome.
Which, you know, like when you have
must be
that,
rough.
when you have that kind of money, I guess, you know, why not? Which is kind of why I wish Disney would just be like, we want Spider-Man to ourselves. We don't want to share him anymore. And Sony just goes, no. So they just go, fuck it, we'll buy Sony.
Yeah.
But so I think, and we'll get to this one in a second because it's going to be coming up here. So obviously, you know, we had Blade, at least the idea of Blade introduced in the Eternals, with the after credit scene in that one. Ironheart, which is a newer book, where a woman named Riri Williams.
Riri.
Riri.
Yeah, I know. It's such. It's more like the Rihanna spelling of Riri, like the R-I, not the
Oh,
the way you two degenerates are taking it.
Oh,
That character is actually going to be introduced in Black Panther: Wakanda Forever.
uh-huh.
It's
It's a female Iron.
a female Iron
Person?
Man. It's a female Iron Man. Iron
Iron Woman.
She's going to get an Iron Man like suit. Well,
Cool.
whether or not she finds an Iron Man suit and, you know, repurposes it or builds it herself, that
Riri
I'm
the
not-
repurposer.
um,
Do you think it's
Agatha?
gonna have like metal breasts like they did with the Power Rangers outfits?
possibly, but since
Give them the Batman nipple suits.
Yeah.
doubtful because Riri is more of a teenager. She is on the younger side.
Oh, geez.
least-
Let's just
at
cut
least-
that out.
At least in the comic books, you know, I mean, for the show and for the movie, they could, you know, age her up a little bit.
Yeah, should be a college kid.
They should. Yeah, they should make her a college kid, a hot college
Co-ed.
lesbian.
Oh, I mean, don't
Co-ed.
give them any
Yeah,
ideas.
Co-ed. Co-ed.
I know we all watched WandaVision. I don't know if everybody finished it or not.
Oh, I loved it. I loved
Yeah.
it. Yeah.
Agatha Harkness,
Uh-huh.
she's getting her own series. May
Is that a
3rd.
little too much, do you think? I mean,
Yeah,
do
that
we
one
really
might be.
care?
No, that one might be too much, but, you know, whatever. I mean, they've got Disney Plus, they can do with whatever.
Yeah. There's a lot of shit to watch now. Like it
I-
just
you
doesn't
know,
stop
or to
No.
or to neglect.
or to neglect. I try to keep up with as much Marvel as I can, but
It's
Um,
just so much.
yeah, and then so for May 3rd, 2024, so the day of my birthday,
ooh, they
2
knew it.
years, Captain America: New World Order.
So that'll get postponed. They won't give you a movie on your birthday.
They're giving Daredevil, Charlie Cox, they're giving him his own series,
Fuck
and
yeah.
apparently it's going to be a big one because they said it was an 18 episode season. So
Daredevil, attorney at law.
we did discuss a couple weeks ago Thunderbolts.
Mhm.
Mhm.
That's official now. They gave you an exact date. They have the date of November 8th, 2024 for Fantastic Four.
Holy
They have
Christ.
they have a poster for it.
Isn't
They,
it-
however,
Don't you
They,
think it's a
however, have
little
not-
risky for them to be putting out exact dates that far in the future?
yes and no. I mean, you know, this isn't Main Street Films where you just hope that you're getting somewhere.
Main Street Films. That seems like a unnecessary swipe. But you're right.
was
Yes,
It,
this
was
is
it was it unnecessary or was
mean,
it funny?
it was both.
Yeah. Could be both. It's funny
Um,
because it's true.
But if they have an exact date for Fantastic Four, that means they are a lot farther along in production of that movie than we thought they were. They maybe haven't started filming yet, but that means that they've already cast people. Like they already have a cast. They
For-
probably
What
they
are we talking
probably
about?
already Fantastic Four.
Oh, okay.
So, you know, they're already in pre-production on that. They're already doing scouting. They're probably already doing storyboards. I'm guessing that means they have a script. They're just not telling us anything about it now.
We should get Josh Trank back at it.
God no.
One more chance.
And then this is the big thing for 2025. We're getting Avengers the Kang Dynasty and Avengers Secret Wars. So kind of like how we got Infinity War and Endgame at the same time, really close to each other. We're getting a Kang Dynasty Secret War. So everybody keeps talking about how Phase 4 doesn't make sense and how it's so disjointed. I don't think we're going to know what's going on until we get closer to May 2nd, 2025.
Yeah, you just got to wait till 2025 to find out, guys. Is it
Yeah,
that hard? Is it that much
kids
trouble?
these days with their instant gratification.
Right.
It's the long game we're playing here.
Just eat your vegetables.
Well,
so you
I mean,
can live
think
that
about it.
long.
Go
Take your
back
vitamins.
I think
your
people are
prayers.
getting so wrapped up in this whole well, it's Phase 4. We're doing this. Phase 1, 2, and 3 of Marvel weren't really when you were at the end of Phase 1. Now they ended each one of them with an Avengers movie. The Phase 1 ended with Avengers. Phase 2, Age of Ultron. 3 with the Endgame Infinity War. But nothing really kind of flowed. It wasn't really you were like, oh, okay, So Phase 4 is a little bit more it's a little bit more chaotic because that's where the world ended, with an Endgame. Is it you have half the world going away for 5 years and now it's all back and everything's, the world of superheroes is fully taken over and now we know that there's aliens and there's things and this and that.
Maybe they should send the other half away for 5 years just to balance the playing field. Lock them up or something.
Great. Now I was gone for 5 years. Now that guy's gone. So I feel like that we're not going to get more of a unifying, this is what's going on, because they're trying to rebuild everything. So obviously they also dropped a new She-Hulk trailer, which looked pretty good. I mean, I thought it looked good with the first one, but I think the second one looked even better. It looks funny. Mark Ruffalo looks like he's going to be more than just a cameo.
Hope so. Yeah, he's funny.
So
I like the yoga bit that was in there, that trailer where he's taking it it's really tough for him, and then she just does it super easily.
Yeah. It also looked like they were going to use the opportunity to introduce a lot of the dumber Marvel villains, like Paste Pot Pete, maybe, or
Pete.
well, Kite Man is a DC character, but kind of like Harley Quinn has a lot of the really bad, stupid DC villains.
The Condiment King.
Yeah.
No.
Know what?
Well, first of all, Paste Pot Pete's pretty awesome. But Condiment King?
Yeah, that's a real DC villain.
Yeah.
I mean, we could play a game. Is this a real Batman villain? And go the Clock King, the Calendar Man.
I would love to play it. Don't give them all away.
Okay.
I would play the hell out of that game.
All right. Maybe next week maybe in a couple weeks if I remember and have time to work out, is this a real Batman villain?
Not even just Batman, it could just be real villain.
Okay, all right.
This guy is awesome.
Who?
The Condiment King. Oh my god. They made a minifig of him?
Yeah, he was in at least one of the Lego Batman games.
Wow, that's awesome. Okay, sorry. Got a little sidetracked there.
Hey, that's what this podcast is all about. Not only do we introduce the audience to new things, we also introduce you
That's
to new
true.
things.
So after they dropped the She-Hulk trailer, Marvel was like, you know what? If you weren't already impressed by the length and girth of our impressive penis, let me just unfurl a little bit longer. Oh, look at that. And then they were like, yeah, here it is. and they showed us the trailer for Black Panther: Wakanda Forever.
Oh yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
wow, like without trying, like they already are better than Aquaman with the whole Namor Submariner thing. Like, I'm very curious to see where that's going. Obviously, they hinted very strongly in the trailer that T'Challa. I mean, not hinted. I mean, they flat out said T'Challa died. We don't know how he died in the comic universe yet. So, I'm not sure what they're doing there. I don't. I mean, they're trying to keep it a secret as to who's actually taking up the mantle. If you read the books, it's clearly Shuri,
hmm
but it could be Okoye, it could be Nakia, it could be somebody altogether new.
Winter
But-
Soldier, the White Wolf.
Yeah. The White Wolf.
I mean, you can take a bet on that one if you want, but I'm gonna go ahead and
I think he's
Well,
a perfect fit.
Yeah, well, it depends what the odds are.
if you want to lay your money down, that go ahead and take. I'll take the money for you.
Depends on the odds.
And then they didn't really release it. I found on YouTube a little bit ago somebody had kind of surreptitiously recorded apparently they did play a Ant-Man and the Wasp Quantumania trailer.
Ooh.
And so but they didn't release it online yet for whatever reason. Somebody kind of recorded it, so like it's a really bad angle, like it's a lower angle, so like you're looking like up at the screen and half cocked, so you only see part of it because they're obviously trying to record it under,
Right.
so they weren't being seen recording when they shouldn't be.
Mhm.
You can hear it fairly well. Kang,
Yeah, there's some places like that when they show those trailers or the episodes that don't let you have your phone out. Because I know when we went to that RTX in Austin a couple of years ago, we saw the first episode of what is it? Paradise PD, that Netflix series. They showed the first one and they had people walking around to see if anyone had their phones out.
yeah, and I'm guessing they probably tried to do the same thing at Comic-Con, but
Yeah.
that gets just so many people in the crowd, somebody was able to, the one thing that well, and they can't stop the people who were there from giving an exact breakdown of what happened. So I guess in the trailer, you have Kang making his appearance. So he was one of the main bad guys, or like the main bad guy for Loki season 1. So and obviously since Avengers 5 or 6 or whatever they're up to is called the Kang Dynasty, he's clearly going to be kind of the through line for the next couple of phases. But I guess MODOK is going to be making an appearance in Ant-Man.
Wow.
Nice.
Cool.
And it looks like his daughter is going to be stepping up and becoming Stature, which is the character that she was in the book. Also, apparently, Bill Murray has a big cameo in the trailer. So,
Oh, I'm all for it. I don't even know what he's doing, but Bill Murray's in it.
yeah. So Marvel was like, "Yeah, look at that. We're not even trying, and this is how awesome we are."
Yeah.
DC showed up, and they were like, "We have a trailer for Shazam,"
Yeah.
which I mean, looked good.
yeah.
I mean, I did enjoy the Shazam movie. I thought it was, of all of the DC movies that have happened since Man of Steel, where they're all sort of connected. I think Shazam is one of the better, if not the best one of them. So it's smart to continue that franchise.
Mhm.
And then I guess they brought The Rock out and had him bring another Black Adam trailer. But that was it. DC just kind of was like, yeah, well, we're here. Yay.
We don't need to promote all this to get your money.
Well, I know their big thing is they have the DC Fandom now, where like it's their own event. So they don't necessarily want to participate in the Comic Cons and stuff anymore, which I think is not necessarily the best idea. Because I mean,
It's not necessarily the worst idea either.
no, but I mean, it's
I mean, if you know you're going to get smoked every year from
Well,
Marvel,
I mean-
you might as well just do your own thing.
but it's kind of like you're just giving Marvel like all of the free airtime. You're not trying to compete at all. You're just like, yeah. I mean, I don't know if that's just admitting defeat. Or-
I think so.
I mean, there were a ton of rumors that like Henry Cavill was supposed to show up, and they were going to officially announce like a new Superman project with Henry Cavill. And everybody's like, so many people online are pissed that DC didn't do it. And I'm like, well, first off, where did that rumor come from? Like, that was probably never a true thing. It wasn't like Henry Cavill was just like, yeah, I'm busy, I'm not going.
Yeah.
You know, and then DC just kind of, and right now with everything going on with Ezra Miller, like I don't even think DC knows what to do with that movie right now. 'Cause,
Yeah. Is it done?
I mean, it's done in the can. It's been pushed back like twice now, but at this point, like I don't know how you can release it. Like I really don't. Like I mean, every week there's new allegations coming out about. I mean, at first it was Ezra Miller got drunk and started a fight with a newlywed couple in Hawaii. Okay, whatever. I mean, actors get drunk and do stupid things.
Yeah, they're
But then-
human.
And then it was he did it again, and then now there's a couple of young. I don't know how young. Not. I don't know if it was 14, 15 or like 18, 19. But a couple of girls coming forward and
Well, there's a
leveling
big
some-
difference there.
Well, that's the thing, and I don't remember the story. And you're right, there's a huge difference there, but there is leveling some unsavory details on what there's a family or a couple of women saying that they held them captive. He held them captive in his house.
Well, I guess it doesn't matter the age then.
or
If
some
you're
sort
getting
of
held
compound they
captive.
had.
Yeah.
Yeah, and there's a couple other like like everything that comes out about Ezra Miller, like it just gets more and more disturbing.
Yeah, that's awful. Jeez, I didn't know he was doing shit like that.
I wasn't the biggest fan when I heard he was cast as the Flash either.
Right. Well, mainly because they had a good one on TV. I didn't quite understand why
Yeah,
they.
that's what they get for not going with the Berlanti people.
Yeah, but it's kind of weird, But I mean, it's to the point now where like you almost feel like they have to just digitally alter like they did with Army of the Dead when they reshot part of the movie and they put Tig Notaro over Chris D'Elia
Mm,
and like so they just reshot all of his scenes
yeah.
with it's almost like you have to kind of like just go reshoot all of Ezra Miller scenes.
Everything with the Flash.
Oh my God.
Because like how do you release a 150 to 200 million dollar movie, some sort of tentpole franchise that you're expecting to turn into multiple movies or save the franchise because you're bringing Michael Keaton and all the other stuff back and how do you release that with with a guy who, I mean, all right, it's bad enough like he got drunk and was beating up people in Hawaii. Okay, yeah, that's not great, but there's a list of actors who got drunk and beat up people and still have work.
Yeah.
Sean Penn, Mel Gibson,
Russell Crowe.
yeah,
Naomi Campbell.
Right
yeah.
around the world with Russell Crowe.
So if it was kept to just that, sure, it's some bad press, and then he maybe has to eat some crow or answer some embarrassing questions when he goes on Jimmy Kimmel.
Yeah, take a
But-
trip to rehab, maybe.
Yeah, I had exhaustion, or I'm an alcoholic, and I've gone to rehab, and I'm better now. Great. it's a whole nother thing when there's all sorts of creepy, weird sex things and holding people hostage in dungeons in your basement.
Yeah.
Like
It's a little harder to explain away on Jimmy Kimmel.
it's a little, like
He was preparing for a role. He was diving into the character.
Perfect.
Justin,
should
you
be
might
his-
remember this, Justin, because but do you remember in the late 90s, early 2000s when Hugh Grant got caught with a hooker?
Vaguely.
And like to like kind of repair his, because I mean at that time people were like, oh, and it almost ended his career. Now people would be like, yeah, so whatever, But like he had to go on Jay Leno to like, and then allow Jay Leno to make all kinds of jokes and ask him all sorts of inappropriate questions to like kind of repair his reputation and kind of get his
Yeah.
I
Get his
don't
dirty
think-
laundry out there.
I don't think if you're on Jimmy Kimmel, he's gonna want to be making the jokes about you keeping women in your dungeon.
Right.
I mean, he might.
It might, yeah, like I don't know.
I feel like you can recover from getting caught hiring some hookers, or getting drunk and getting into a fight. Maybe even getting caught with certain level of drugs. But I think there's a tier system of crimes that you can commit before you're just like, that's too high, you're gone. Sorry, you're gone now.
Mhm.
And I think that might be where we're at. And so I think DC kind of is just like, what do we do? Yeah.
Well, has it actually been proven that he's doing the dungeon thing, or is that just like allegations right now?
I think right now it's just allegations.
So maybe
Right.
they're just holding on
Well-
to it till they really find out for sure.
Part of that
Those are some
that
pretty
is-
in-depth allegations, though, about
Yeah.
the whole situation.
well,
Hey,
and the whole when he went on Instagram to taunt the cops for not being able to find him.
Wow, he's like turning into a
Super villain.
Yeah. like-
yeah.
Well,
So-
all right. Well, yeah, that's tough. Maybe they should just put it on what's that streamer? HBO Max without any like marketing and just like put it
Yeah,
on
I mean-
real quick.
I mean, basically, I feel like that's what they're going to end up doing is just being like, we got to try to make some money back for this. So here it's on HBO Max. And
Yeah, and then
You
just
know.
hope people forget about it, and then they'll just start over. I don't know.
I-
Does it like really connect a lot of shit together?
I mean,
It's supposed to.
it was supposed to. And I don't really know how you release it at this point. Like,
They're,
I mean,
they're
I
just
really-
cursed, man. DC is cursed.
well,
Did
speaking
not
of
get it
DC,
together.
speaking of DC curse, and you know what? I forgot that I wrote all these notes down, and then you just said something that reminded me. Maybe
Wow.
this is also why they didn't show up at San Diego Comic-Con. Warner Media, the new company that owns Warner Brothers, because Discovery bought them or merged with them, is reporting they've done a lot of investigations that they believe at least 13% of all of the accounts that were pushing the release the Snyder Cut hashtag
Uh-huh.
were fake or were bots. A
Well-
minimum of 13% of the people who were. Then they released the report that not only that, but they're relatively certain they can prove that Zack Snyder himself hired a digital media firm, starting with the bad reviews after Batman vs Superman, to start pushing his version.
That's
And
crazy.
so they are saying that he himself, or at least the company that he hired, was behind the release the Snyder Cut and a lot of the stuff. And I've also noticed that what's his name is being super quiet now.
Who-
That one actor who played Ray Fisher,
oh.
who was screaming and yelling about how terrible Joss Whedon supposedly was. The producers of So, you know,
Well, was he right though? Was the Snyder cut better,
well, I'm guessing only one of us has watched it.
Justin?
Man,
I
that was
believe
a
you
little,
did give a review on it before.
yeah,
but-
it tied things better. It tied things together better. There we go. That's better English. Because with it being longer, like it did kind of make it more coherent than it was before. But I don't know exactly how much I would say it improved it.
Okay.
But it did tie up some of the stuff that was kind of questionable in the original.
So, you know, but I mean, yeah, basically, there have been a lot of jokes of this in the week or so that since that story has come out of like, imagine spending that kind of money and that's still the best movie that you could release. Like,
Yeah.
like
Dude,
But,
that's funny though. That I can't believe he did that.
yeah. I mean, and, you know, again, at this point, it's allegations.
Right. But
You know.
I mean, people have big egos in that industry, so it wouldn't surprise me that he's hiring a firm to
Yeah.
push to get
no.
his cut out there.
Well, but what surprised me is that he was actively working on that as early as Batman vs Superman. Like, because I mean, we've talked about on this podcast how I think it's super strange that Zack Snyder has this group of hardcore fans online
Uh-huh.
that like think everything that he does is just amazing. Because like,
Hmm.
you know, the three of us have all watched his movies and we've all been like,
Mhm.
It's all right.
Mhm.
like Dawn of the Dead, his remake of that was really good.
Mhm.
Sucker Punch, while it looked gorgeous, was a terrible movie. Like Batman vs Superman looked great, but it wasn't very good. Like,
Yeah.
you know,
Definitely.
so
I agree. Yeah.
and these and so now it makes more sense because you think about it, like if 13% were pushing it, how many of the people that were glomming onto that 13%, you know, were just like, yeah, you're right, Zack Snyder, you know, or they're just, you know.
Uh-huh.
So I mean, it's interesting, and it'll be interesting to see where that story develops to kind of give us an idea in the future of like what kind of marketing or like how much people could really be affected. Like, what's the smallest number of bots or fake accounts that could get a bunch of people into believing like, yeah, you're right, that Snyder cut will be a better movie, or we
Mhm.
really, you know.
I would say it's got to be a pretty small percent with the
Well,
way people just flock to things like a bunch of sheep these days.
Yeah. Apparently, the answer, at least as of right now, is a
Hey.
minimum of 13%. All right. Anything else we want to talk about before we get down to what we're here for?
Yeah, the one other thing.
Oh, what are we here for?
Oh, or
yeah,
Oh
no,
shit. We're
that-
doing
that you
Oh.
had mentioned was the John Wick trailer came out as
okay.
well.
All right. That's
Looks
right.
awesome.
I did mention
Looks awesome.
it does. I've enjoyed the John Wick movies.
Same. I've thoroughly enjoyed them. I'm looking forward to the fourth one. Is this supposed to be the last one?
It probably depends on how much money it makes. I don't know. I know that they were talking about doing a TV show called The Continental. It was like supposed to be like a prequel to the first John Wick movie altogether. Like just about like the Ian McShane character and the owning of the hotel or the hotel chain.
I mean, even if that wasn't a prequel, that'd still be kind of cool though. You see like the different hitmen and all that stuff just coming together.
Yeah.
Don't argue with me.
I guess I guess I didn't think to ask. Are we able to do the recap, or we need to hold on for another week?
I think we're gonna have to hold on.
Okay, all right.
Do a double.
Do a double. Okay. All
I
right.
have I got it.
Okay.
Oh, you guys could talk about it then.
No, that's fine. We can wait. I mean,
Okay.
we've probably been going pretty long already anyway. Well, not really, but
Well,
I know we got a bit of a late start today,
Yeah.
but not much. Well, let's I guess we can go back and revisit some of the stuff that we were kind of, just discussing anything of that list of the Marvel list where you're like, oh man, or like something you would like a nerd to explain more to you?
Well, really out of the list, the one that well, more than one, the Guardians of the Galaxy, I'm looking forward to that one. And I think this is supposed to be the end of Drax. So I'm kind of curious on how they're going to do this stuff.
Well, James Gunn said that this is the end of this iteration because in the comic book, much like the Avengers or the Thunderbolts or whatever team, like there's always like a through line, like this character stays the same, but like other members will leave and come in and like they'll retire or die or pretend to be dead or
Yeah.
be dead for a while until they get resurrected by some form of magic or time fuckery.
That was the main one I said that I was really looking forward to on that list. That and Blade.
Yeah, I'm really looking forward to Mahershala Ali's take on Blade. I think it'll be interesting to see where I did one of the rumors that I heard, and nothing came of it other than just we're what's his name? Feige said we're actively filming Blade right now. And then gave us the date for it. One of the rumors that I heard is that Anthony Starr, the guy who's playing Homelander in The Boys, is supposed to be taking the role of Dracula.
I don't know who that is because I've never seen that series.
Yeah, I've never seen it.
I still recommend if either of you have access to Amazon, watching The Boys, because that's one of the most fucked up things on TV right now, and it is awesome.
Oh,
All right.
Don't watch it when she's home, the little one, because it's filthy.
yeah. I try not to watch too much of that kind of stuff, anyways, when she's around.
Unless you want to explain why a guy called the Termite can climb inside of a penis.
Oh, I don't even think I want to explain that to myself.
You just wait till you get to season 3 of The Boys, and you'll see it.
Nice. Oh, man.
But that was one of those things that they I know that Disney has its own big thing, kind of like DC has DC Fandom now, but Disney has D23, which is like the Disney fan club. I don't know what it stands for, but I know it's been around longer than. So I know that they hold off some of the big announcements for that. So a lot of people are saying that with them saying Fantastic Four, here's a poster, here's a date, that they're holding off till D23 to actually release the casting. So they've got another big, like, bam, look at this.
We're not done yet. Get back here.
Oh, wait, there's more.
Well, and I was noticing while I'm looking at the list, like 2023 is pretty full. Spring, May 5th, summer, November 3rd, fall, winter. And then 2024, you've got May, spring, July, November. And then 2025, you've just got May and November. So there's a lot.
What? Yeah, who plans that far ahead?
Jeez. The world could be over by then.
Yeah, well, it could be, but then we won't care, and we've just been wasting our time. But but what I'm noticing is that obviously, being that 2022 is half over, and we're getting the Black Panther movie, and I know She-Hulk is coming up here pretty soon, and I want to say there's one other thing, but no, I'm not. It's escaping my mind right now.
Who has time for all this stuff? This is a lot of fucking content.
Yes. And like good little subservient slaves, we're going to watch it all.
I have not seen all the
Yeah.
Marvel stuff
Yeah,
yet.
me neither. I say there's some days I forget to feed myself. You think I'm going to remember to?
Yeah, well, I
To
forget
watch
that.
this.
I forget that too, but I haven't missed a Marvel show yet.
I haven't even watched
Which-
any of Hawkeye. I didn't finish Moon Knight.
Which is not entirely true because I haven't finished all of the Netflix stuff, but and now that it's actually definitely canon, I should probably go in.
I didn't finish Loki.
Which is why you don't know who Kang is. You can get on that.
I just,
Hurry up, Justin.
yeah. I think I'm going to remember to watch the rest of this stuff.
Well, and so far, I can tell you that having being the person who that they love as their target audience because I watch it all. So far, next to nothing that's happened in the Disney Plus shows has affected the movie. Like, if you saw WandaVision, you have a better understanding of what happened in Doctor Strange,
Uh-huh.
but you didn't have to watch WandaVision to quickly figure out what was happening in Multiverse of Madness. Like,
Right.
I feel like if Jess watches Doctor Strange now that it's on Disney Plus, she might have questions, but she's not going to be like, well, I didn't know what was happening, I'm lost.
Uh-huh.
I do wonder, given that they're calling Captain America New World Order,
Yeah.
and Sam Wilson is taking over as Captain America, because that was the whole concept of Falcon Winter Soldier, was Flag Smasher and that group wanting the New World Order, and that was kind of their. So I feel like that's a big, that's going to be important, but nothing that happened in the Eternals mattered with what happened in Disney Plus.
Did really anything matter in that movie?
Or it's got to at some point.
That was brutal, man.
Um,
That movie was
that-
rough.
Nothing that happened in Shang-Chi was affected by Disney Plus. Nothing that spoilers, sorry about this, Jeremy, but nothing that happened in Love and Thunder was affected by
What?
Disney
I
Plus.
saw Love and Thunder.
Yeah,
did you?
it's me.
Oh, okay. I apologize to the wrong screen, and I wouldn't apologize to you anyway. So,
I know what I got myself into with this podcast.
but so far anyway, it hasn't affected it. It made Doctor Strange a little bit more kind of like, oh, okay, I know what's going on.
Mhm.
That you caught up faster, but it wasn't necessarily like, well, no, I'm lost. I don't know. So that's going to be an interesting. Well, because at the time when Agents of Shield was part of I don't know where the Agents of Shield stands when it comes to the MCU. It did do stuff with Age of Ultron. It did stuff with Thor: Dark World.
Mhm.
But the longer Agents of Shield went on, the more it was kind of like, yeah, we're not even part of MCU anymore. Although the rumor is that Chloe Bennett, the one who played Quake,
Yeah, the
I
one from
don't
the
know.
Powerpuff show.
the one who was going to be on the Powerpuff show, is apparently picking Quake back up and going to show up in
Daisy.
Daisy Johnson, I believe.
Yeah, from the Powerpuff TV series. Are we ever gonna get that or the script?
Yeah, are we gonna read that thing?
Oh yeah, no, that's another one of the projects that I have it, and I keep working on other projects.
Understandable.
She's nice. She's
Yeah.
from Chicago, Illinois. Wow.
Oh,
Gross.
Yeah.
Does that make her a Bears fan?
maybe, I don't
Maybe.
know.
Gross.
She's got kind of a weird face, if I'm being honest. Okay.
Weird with the weird face Flatlander.
Right.
So, I don't know. I mean,
We can't all be
it'll-
symmetrical.
all right. Well, then, let's see.
Stupid never walks alone.
I don't think we're there. Are
No,
we there?
no, well, no, I guess I got 10 minutes.
Yeah,
Okay.
that's his bedtime.
Then I gotta
Oh,
bounce
that's right.
out of here.
That's right. Okay, then. I guess let me ask the
Spin some
question.
gold.
Let me just ask the question that I ask every week, and I think I'm going to get the same answer that I always get. Did anybody watch anything this week that they want to talk about?
Justin?
The only thing I watched this week was I think it's called Finding Bigfoot. It's a different one, not the normal one, because I don't remember exactly what it's called. But it's a Discovery Plus
So,
one.
It's not called Finding Bigfoot.
No, it's Discovery Plus, and it's Jack Osborne and Jason Mewes
What?
going out into the hills of somewhere, I think in maybe Idaho, searching for Bigfoot.
Okay, I'm not gonna lie. That's the first Bigfoot show I've ever actually been interested in watching.
I seen it who it was, so that's why I checked it out. It's what you'd expect out of like a Finding Bigfoot show, but it's still pretty entertaining because it's those two.
That's
I don't have-
awesome.
I don't have Discovery Plus though. Oh well.
Well, because
Um,
basically, if you're going to throw Jason Mewes into something, I'm probably going to watch it.
Yeah, that's true.
that Osborne show where Jack was like showing the videos to Ozzy. and
Oh,
Sharon.
the Osbournes Want to Believe.
Yeah, that's a good one too. I was like really into that.
That's also on Discovery Plus.
Oh man, I might be getting Discovery Plus
Man,
tonight.
we apparently we're corporate shows for Discovery Plus. Pop Culture Roulette now brought to you by Discovery Plus.
I wish, man.
I have that.
Anyone.
I'd say I have that one.
I want some of that fat streamer money.
I would, yeah. Jeez. There's very few companies I wouldn't sell this podcast out to.
Yeah.
All right then. I
You
guess.
didn't, well, no. Jeremy,
Oh.
Yeah, you can ask.
do you have anything you would like to add that you have watched?
Well, let's see here. I watched.
All right, back to you, Nicholas.
Okay, nothing this week for me. I did watch. Well, not to give too many spoilers here for what's to come, but I did watch Nightmare on Elm Street Part 2.
Ooh,
So
first time?
no, this I've seen it many times, but I was watching this time really thinking about the gay subtext. So I was really zeroed in on that. So I was looking all
All
over
right,
for
then.
symbolism, and
It's there.
Okay.
anytime he had his shirt open, I paused it just to make sure it was there. I just needed to see for my own.
I
But that
Okay.
was all I watched this week. So
watched a really interesting Amazon Prime show called Upload.
what's that about?
It's in the future where right before you die, they have the ability to like move your entire consciousness or a facsimile of your consciousness onto a hard drive, and then you can go live in like The Sims.
That's cool. Is Mike Judge involved in this?
I don't know, but Stephen Amell, the Green Arrow's
Okay.
cousin, Robbie Amell is the lead, and he's pretty good as an actor, quite honestly. He was
Cool.
Firestorm, but
Yeah.
he's funny. Like he's engaged. Like he's very charismatic. The first season was really funny, and it kept me going. The second season kind of started to fall apart a little bit, but I'm still interested to see what happens when they release the third season. Like it didn't die enough that I was like, I'm done with this show.
Mhm.
But yeah, it's interesting. It's interesting.
Oh yeah, the only other thing I actually kind of watched was on Hulu. It's called Killer Carnies.
Awesome.
Like
What's that
the-
about?
The first episode is about a guy who's called Lobster Boy,
Okay.
So he's got that condition where it fuses like your fingers together.
Oh, is this like a true crime documentary series?
Yeah,
Oh,
and he's raised in that whole kind of environment. And
okay. Yeah.
one of his daughters, who is 100% normal, because he's got other kids that have the same disease. That's what they said, because she's normal, was going to get engaged or married. And he didn't like the idea of her leaving the family, so he shot and killed her fiance. And then he didn't even get sentenced to jail time. He got like probation
What?
because of his condition, and he kept threatening everyone. He's like, I've gotten away with murder before. I could do it again.
This is a real thing? This happened?
Yeah, they
Yeah.
like talk
What
to
the
like his
fuck?
they talk to like his kids and his ex-wife, and yeah.
And it just he passed away. No,
he,
no,
he
didn't
was
pass away.
he was murdered.
He was murdered when Bill Clinton was in office.
Yeah, like they paid another person like $300 to kill him.
There's this podcast I listened to
Yeah.
called let me look it up real fast.
That's all the man's life is worth.
$300. That's
There's
it.
this podcast I listened to called Grim and Mild Presents.
Okay.
It's Aaron Mankey's podcast, the guy who does lore.
Okay.
And the first season was all about like crazy carny stuff. And that guy that you just talked about was the final episode of the season before now, because they just started season 2 and it's about pirates. But
Yarr.
season 1 was all about like really interesting like carny culture stuff.
Yeah.
But
I don't remember
yeah.
how I came across it, but I was like, all right.
That's fucked up, man. That's really crazy. Oh, I thought of one more thing I watched. I watched a show about warring neighbors on A&E.
It's about a guy who's out there like cleaning his boat and stuff.
No,
Well,
it's like real like dash cam footage or like house footage of like neighbors like bitching at each other.
So it's not.
Like-
It doesn't feature a podcast where you're trying to record and he's just out there washing his boat for bitching about it.
That's on the next season.
Yeah,
Oh,
that's
okay.
coming up later. Yeah.
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 Coming up on season 2.
Yeah.
Stop
you-
cleaning your damn boat.
The neighbor didn't even know they were bitching about him, and still to this day doesn't.
Yeah, I didn't know there was a feud.
I,
Never would have known.
I forgot that guy even existed. It's just-
Thought he moved out years ago.
Yeah.
oh, who knew? All right. Well, then be sure to check us out on your favorite podcast directory, whether it be Spotify or iTunes or I don't know. We're on it. Find us. If we're not, let me know. I'll get us on it. I mean, I've got us on some weird, like Indian ones. I've put us on some pretty strange podcast directories, just whatever I could find, trying to get us big in the Middle East, as well as, if there's a Russian one, I'll do that.
Well,
or whatever. I
I
don't.
better cut out some of that gay subtext stuff if we're trying to get Middle Eastern audience.
Well, nah. I mean,
Too late now.
We need to subvert that. I mean, the gay subtext that just overruns this whole podcast to begin with. It's going to be hard to.
Hey,
It's going to be hard to cut.
Our bromance is real.
Yeah, people really they identify with that.
So, I mean, hit us up on Facebook, Tinder, Instagram,
Grinder.
Yeah,
Grinder,
Grindr.
wherever,
yeah, we're all over the place.
Um,
Twitter, Facebook.
So just remember, if you're DC and you've decided to hire a problematic actor to be one of your more recognizable characters and don't know what you're going to do with it, or you've hired a publicity firm to run a fake campaign to get your version of a movie run out, just remember that stupid never walks alone.
Do you love movies of a certain age? Do you miss the days of VHS tapes and VCRs and video rental stores? Is the thought of another 80s movie being remade seem inconceivable? If you want to go back to school, back to the future, or even back to the beach, then the 80s Flick Flashback Podcast is for you. I'm Tim Williams, the creator and host, and on each episode, I'm joined by a guest co-host as we revisit a different 80s flick to discuss our first-time watch memories, iconic scenes, and even learn some behind-the-scenes stories along the way. New episodes drop every other Friday on your favorite podcasting platform. So make like a tree, get out of here, and go listen to an episode of the 80s Flick Flashback Podcast.